Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Van Prate and I am from Chatham, Ontario, Canada. That is just across the border from our friends in Detroit, Michigan. We are here on a chilly February evening, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a tour of my Endless Pools E550 swim spa, which I got just about a year ago. Actually, it was a year ago last week. Been loving it and really couldn't be happier. I am a triathlete. That's my primary use for this awesome machine. And kind of an interesting fact about me is I'm a triathlete with a visual impairment. So I've been in the sport for about 25 years now, and primarily long course. So I'm a 7-time Ironman finisher. And for me, owning an endless pool has always been a dream of mine. And after swimming endless laps back and forth in lap pools and YMCA's, etc., I was finally blessed with the ability to get one of these last year. And it was delivered on a nice snowy day, hoisted over the house, and yeah, it was quite the sight. Through my research, which I did a lot of, I decided on the E550 because it was designed with a little more internal space in mind when it came to swimming. So essentially it is 15 feet long by about just shy of 8 feet wide. And as you'll see in some of the other pictures and videos here, there's no seats in the back, and I chose the one that did not have the seats in the back primarily because I'm going to use this for triathlon training and for swimming. But in the back there are 2 sets of stand-up jets, or 2 arrays of massage jets in each corner, and my wife really enjoys those. I generally keep this pool at about 89, 90 degrees in the winter. It's about as warm as I can go and swim fairly comfortably. I'm getting older and becoming a bit wimpy, so I keep it about that high. It does go up to 99 degrees, and my wife likes when I put it up to that level so she can go in and do some of her general, like, just kind of fiddling around or aqua aerobics, or especially hanging out with her friends. I tend to use it on average, honestly, probably about 3 times a week, trying to keep it with all my other training with cycling and running and day jobs, etc. I would say probably about 3 times a week, but later this August I will be hopefully racing Ironman Canada out in Penticton, so there will be a lot more usage of the Endless Pool here coming up shortly. Okay, so let's do a little tour of the installation. So just for reference, this patio and that deck was not here when we had our tub, as we like to call it, hoisted from our driveway up over our house and put into place. So before any of that happened, the first thing we did was have our concrete pad poured, and we'll go check that out in a second. And then the next thing we did is I dug a trench from our house over to the front corner there of the pad where the electrician did all the hookups. And here you see our outdoor panel box. So each Endless Pool has its own separate panel box far away from the spa itself, for safety or for maintenance if need be. So we had our concrete pad poured, and of course we've got some snow because it is February in Canada. And as you can see, we've tried to leave roughly 6 inches all the way around for keeping moisture away and trying to keep snow away, etc. So the pad itself is approximately 6 inches thick, and it is 16 feet by 9 feet, because the E550, which I have here, is 8 feet by 15 feet. So we wanted 6 inches all the way around, and the trench for the electrical was dug to here, and electrical goes in, and we had it set up this way where this is our access panel to your filters and to all the mechanics, and then under here is your touch screen. I will not do a tutorial on how that all works. My wife is much better at it than I, but you've got all your controls that we may show later for lights and maintenance and the hydro massage jets as well. All these panels you are able to take off if you need to for maintenance. So this back corner here is where one of the hydro massage jets are. The cradle system again. Another hydro massage back here, and the ozone is on this side as well. So if you will see, you'll see the bench that we have, and you'll notice behind there, there's a gap. And so when we built this deck, we actually built it so these benches can be moved out of the way, and it leaves about a foot gap in case we ever need to do any maintenance. We can get in there without having to take the whole deck apart. So all of those benches move out of the way, and those stairs as well will move out of the way, essentially this far. So you can get in there and take any of the panels off if you ever need to. I'm gonna go for a swim, but before I go for a swim, I'm gonna show you a little bit about the inside. So that's a swim current generator that when you turn on the machine, the current flows, which you'll see. You see over there is one crate where there is 2 filters. There's also 2 filters right there. And we've got our steps down. You can see on that side, the steps that go down. There are lights inside. And then if we go to the back, in that corner, there's an array of jets. You can stand up against an array of jets there. That is my mat on the bottom. Essentially, that's because of my vision loss. I can only see a little bit. So when I'm swimming, I use that mat to kind of see where I'm at. But we'll be getting a official Endless Pools swim spa mirror for the bottom real shortly. So as you can see, I mean, it's super clear. There's zero turbulence, or sorry, bubbles. It's just a solid core of water that you swim in. So that stream is as wide as the grate that you see. So it's, I'm not sure what that is, about 18-20 inches wide from side to side. But depth, how deep it is, I would say it's about, it's probably about a foot deep. So it's a core of water. So if you aren't swimming in the current, you can go underneath of it, technically under the current. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but essentially the column of water is probably 24 inches or whatever that is wide, and probably about a foot deep, and it's plenty to to push you around. And I mean, that's just a regular speed. It goes it can go incredibly fast, and I won't even go top speed, but you can hear how quiet it is. And just bringing it back down. And then it also goes just a super gentle trickle. So depending on what you want to use it for, it's got a speed for everybody. So we've got controls for your temperature up and down. We've got inside lights, outside lights, and all on and off. So when you have the jets going and the lights going, you could just press the off button and it's all on and off. Up here, let me turn on the massage jets. So here, through the mist, you can see your hydro massage jets. What you can do, hopefully you can see, is you can turn them. And what that means, the reason that's doing that is because I've been swimming a lot lately, and the water is probably about half an inch too low. So this just means I need to fill the water up a bit more. But you see, you can turn the jets, all the jets on that array, you can turn them up and down. Same with that array. You can open and close them. But also up here, what you've got is this, which allows the airflow. So by opening it, you've got a full airflow, right? So you can micro adjust how much how much you want those jets to be on and off. Yeah, so that's your stand-up array of hydro massage jets, which is super awesome. In terms of maintenance, you know, I'm not a scientific pool guy. There's, you know, I know pool maintenance can be really tricky, but this has been super easy to maintain. I'll show you in a minute some of the chemicals I use, maybe some of the accessories I use, but honestly, maintenance is super simple. Test it with some test strips, you know, every other day, or generally, yeah, every other day, I would say. And, you know, put in the proper amount of chlorine, and I used granulated chlorine. There are lots of other chemicals you can use to keep it balanced, but we're finding our city water is pretty balanced, so it's not too terrible. Obviously, when you're inside, you want to keep it clean, so, you know, scrubbing down any sort of, you know, I don't want to say scum around the edges, because obviously the pool is cleaner, but any, you know, any ring around the collar kind of thing. Inside, there are 4 giant filters. I call them giant, but they're probably just regular hot tub filters. There are 4 of them. I try to keep clean on a regular basis, probably once every 4 or 5 weeks. Some of the chemicals that we use. So real simple, the test strips. So you dip the strips in, it tells you, you know, all your different chemical balances, and then the main thing I use is just granulated chlorine, so pretty simple. Sometimes I need some pH or alkalinity powder. That is very rare, actually. Generally, pretty much test strips and chlorine is what I use, so pretty simple for chemical maintenance. And yeah, I mean, this bucket lasts a really long time, probably 6 months or more, and it's at our place about 60 bucks, 70 bucks a bucket, I think. So not a lot of money for chemicals. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it opens. It's really simple. They've got a lot of different covers. Mine, I think, is just the standard cover with the cradle. So we've got our clips. Just unclip. And I learned how to do this pretty quickly when it's cold. So what I do is I flip this thing up. Obviously, you want to make sure the cover is clean before you do it. And I'm going to go down and show you the cradle. And I'm only going to make my lovely camera lady, my wife Mindy, only do the good one. So the cradle is connected up here, and it's pretty simple. You hang on to the handle here, you hang on to the handle here. And I'm gonna go do the other side. So that's the cradle, and they flip up on either end, and you're ready to go. So on a lovely March evening, I'm gonna show you a little bit about the Fit at Home, one of my favorite things for the swim spa. It's an additional cost, but it's well worth it. So it's a Wi-Fi card that goes in your machine, and it allows you to control the swim current, not just with the handheld device, but you can actually control it with your device that's connected to your home network. So my wife, if she was me, she could sit inside and raise and lower the speed. So you can do it manually just by starting a swim session and raising and lowering your pace or your time. But I like the workout function the best. So you can create new workouts. So I have just a few that I'm using now early in the season, training for Ironman. I don't tend to do a lot of super fast stuff at this point. So the one I'm gonna do today is some 3s and 1s. So I have it set up that when I press start, I have it at a really slow pace for just a couple minutes until I can kind of get ready to go. And then I have it at my desired pace for 300 meters, it'll rest, and then it kicks up at a higher pace for 100 meters, and I have intervals like that. You can make whatever kind of workout you want, but all I have to do is just hit start,